What's going on, everybody? So, as you can see, Smackdown, which means we got another Friday Night Smackdown review. This Smackdown was a little bit better than the previous Smackdowns, but I'm going to tell you why. So they did a recap of what basically happened last week, and then they opened the show with Jimmy and Solo in the back, and out comes Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, and they greet Roman Reigns, to which Roman Reigns explains to his displeasure that nothing's been handled, and that he's been wanting stuff handled. And if you don't know what he wanted handled, he just wanted them to handle that he have to be in a fatal 4-way, and instead he wanted to handle to where he facing only one of them. And from there we kick off Friday Night Smackdown with the bloodline / a contract signing, and he introduced. We got Nick Aldis in the ring introducing AJ Styles, Randy Orton, LA Knight. They all come out and sign the contract. And when he introduces Roman Reigns, instead of Roman Reigns, it's Paul Heyman, who comes out and informs Nick Aldis that he don't even know if Nick Aldis watches his own show, but him and Roman just arrived to the stadium, and that they haven't had a chance to look over the contract and send it to lawyers that don't have the wise man like eyes on it. So he informed them that Roman would not be coming out to sign the contract, and Nick Aldis just wanted to reconfirm that Roman Reigns would not be signing the contract, which Paul Heyman delightfully said yes, and he informs Paul Heyman that's okay, because then since he already got AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton's signatures on the contract, that if Roman Reigns don't sign the contract, it will be a triple threat match for the vacant WWE Universal Championship. And they be going back and forth. They be calling the WWE Championship and then the WWE Universal Championship. So at this point, we don't know which one is which. But he did for him it would be a triple threat match, to which Paul Heyman tried to negotiate that. He said that as Roman Reigns, your longest reigning champion, your undisputed WWE Universal Champion, he should be able to face only one opponent. And Nick told Paul that it basically wouldn't be happening, and that LA Knight interrupted and told Paul Heyman to suffer before you cut bacon fat off of him, cut some bacon off his back, and he was saying that he said Paul Heyman was right about one thing. It should be a one-on-one between him and Roman Reigns, and that this should be a one-on-one, but out comes AJ Styles and Randy Orton to disrupt that, and now we here with fatal 4-way instead of a one-on-one match, and he feels that he should have his one-on-one because he was in front of the line. That out of nowhere, both AJ Styles and Randy Orton just come back from injury, and they want to be the ones to face him next. He gets into a verbal argument with AJ Styles again, to which AJ Styles informs LA Knight that the only reason why he's in this conversation and in this match is because he stepped over his dead body to get those matches and opportunities against Roman Reigns. This would culminate in a brawl between the two, which also will be later on AJ Styles confronting Nick Aldis, and he wanted a match with LA Knight, to which that would be made official for later on in the night. Randy Orton, though, before the end of the promo, he ended the promo by confronting Paul Heyman, saying he sees what Paul's trying to do and it won't work because he will reintroduce Roman Reigns to the most 3 destructive letters in all of WWE, RKO. We then get the first match of the night, which is LWO with Carlito at the helm versus Delgado del Fantasmas, Santos Escobar, Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo. No, that was Primo. Or Epico. I remember Primo and Epico. I remember one of them was related to Carlito. I almost thought that it was. I thought it was Herberto. I thought Herberto was related to Carlito, but when I know that was Primo and Epico, and I think Primo was Carlito's younger brother or something like that. But never mind. It was just a random thought. Now, when ain't Herberto related to Carlito? But then then I remember who it was. But anyway, this was a good opening tag team match. One thing for sure, you could tell Triple H is at the helm because there's because if you don't know, Triple H is a big fan of the tag team format, and you could tell. That's why I always say you could tell he's at the helm of creative because he put emphasis on tag team matches. If you notice in his tenure, most of his shows got more tag team matches than they do single matches, and that's because he's more fond of them. And this doesn't disappoint here. This was a good fun opener with some good moves. Carlito showing off his impressive new strength and physique, and but with some sly underhanded tactics, the Gaudio for Tasman will actually get the victory here, though it should have been a Carlito win. And Carlito been on the roster in this feud, he needs a win, at least a good solid win over Santos, but they gave the win to Santos instead. They did. It was revealed later on in the night too that next week it will be Carlito and Santos 1-on-1. Then we got the next match, which is Pretty Deadly. This was I would say probably is gonna be my little header when you see like my, you know how I usually do. I say review where I gave it and then my little header. This probably gonna be my little header, but it was Pretty Deadly in a rematch with Tyler Bate and Butch. But when Butch came out, he no longer was called Butch. It finally happened. Triple H finally pulled the trigger and gave Pete Dunne back to Pete Dunne, and he was reintroduced as not Butch, but Pete Dunne. Even though they did like when they showed like the match card, it said Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. I mean Tyler Bate and Butch versus Pretty Deadly, and then instead of Butch, they reintroduced him as Pete Dunne, which the crowd blew up for. That was like the highlight of the night. Was that even though I know I got Randy Orton up here with Roman Reigns at the end of the show, but the highlight of the night was Pete Dunne and coming back out as Pete Dunne. I'm like, which if you've been following backstage, you know it was being rumored for a long time. This was a good match, made better. This was an okay match, made good, I should say, by the fact that we got Pete Dunne in all his Pete Dunne glory, and they really put him over. Like they really focused emphasis on him. Like they made him look good. He looked like the Pete Dunne of old, and they would actually get the victory. This is a tag team I'm looking forward to. Now I like these little quiet call-ups too, because Tyler Bate and Carmelo Hayes. More on Carmelo Hayes later, but it seemed like they were being quietly called up to the main roster. As you can see, both Tyler Bate and Carmelo are like in between. So I like this little call up, like how they did with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was like a quiet call up. We would get the speaking of Kevin Owens, we would get the KO show, and I did tell y'all Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate got the victory, right? If not, okay, you know they won that match. But yeah, we got KO and the KO show promo next, where he invites Logan Paul to the ring, and they get into a verbal war. Basically, with Logan Paul trying to hijack Kevin Owens. So it reminded Kevin Owens, or revealed to Kevin Owens, that he was the reason why Logan Paul became a WWE superstar, which confused Kevin Owens, and he reminded him that it was because of that moment at WrestleMania when he came to his first WrestleMania and Kevin Owens stunned him. He was so embarrassed at the fact that he got stunned and everybody cheered that he had to prove it to not only Kevin Owens, not only to the WWE Universe, but to the world that he belonged here in WWE, and now look at him, United States champion. And Kevin Owens gave him his props. He said, "You know what? I'll give you credit where credit is due. You had came to this company and learned and studied this and really took to this better than anybody. That you improved and are better than anybody ever thought you could be." Well, with that being said, you're not one of us. You're not me. You're not Seth Rollins. You're not Sami Zayn. You're not Rey Mysterio. But Logan Paul will retort, saying that he doesn't want to be one of them, as he ran down his long list of accomplishments, saying that he's one of a kind. And Kevin Owens assured him that he will not come to the Royal Rumble with the cast, because he heard with his little threats and stuff. And even said, "I would even make you feel more comfortable. I'll take it off right now," which he did. And they would get into a fight with Kevin Owens almost standing tall, but Logan Paul would take advantage of his injury, and they rolled on, like they fought and brawled to the outside, and then he just grabbed Kevin Owens' hand and slammed it into the ring post, and thus he stood tall, holding up the United States Championship. Then we got Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus the Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. This was a good match. And this was like, I seen Alba Fire like in singles matches before. I never got to see Isla Dawn, but I seen Alba Fire in singles matches before. And I didn't know enough to know that they became a tag team. I never seen them in tag team matches, so this was a fun little experience of seeing them in tag team action. They did not disappoint. It was a pretty good tag team match. I loved it. I actually did love that they got, once they finally get some screen time, but I got to love to see what they all about. You know, who are they? And they put on a good match. I love the Canadian Destroyer from Caden on Alba Fire. That looked nasty. And I like how Alba Fire sold the move. I was kept saying so. But sold, I like how she sold it to the effect of it. It made Kaden look good, and Kaden Carter and them will get the victory. Did get the victory, and then I forgot to mention too, Damage Control was at ringside, and the reason why I have to mention that is because when they got the victory, the Kabuki Warriors. Of Kairi Sane and Asuka will play around with the tag team belts and then get in the ring and present it to them and presenting themselves as their next challengers, which was made official for next week, that they will be defending the titles against the Kabuki Warriors. And we'll get to see if Bailey's plan is coming to fruition. We got the LA Knight and AJ Styles match, which was a good match. They got some heavy hitters. They got some good moves in. It was a pretty even match, but then the match would end in disqualification when Jimmy came out for a distraction with LA Knight chasing Jimmy off, but then he would get I think he got a Pele kick from AJ Styles. And then, as he fell into the barricade, and then Solo would hit him with a Samoan Spike, beat up on AJ, and then get AJ in the ring and hit him with a Samoan Spike. But LA Knight was your official winner by disqualification, and he would grab a mic and say 2 down, 1 to go. Tell Ray on to get his ass out here, and thus we transition right to the main event, which is Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa. This was a very good match between the two, and I like that. I like the push for Solo, man. I really do. I do like the push for him. I like how, even though he's going up against Randy Orton, and even though he lost, they didn't make him look bad in it though. It's like they're still giving him that push, but he veteran Randy Orton versus Solo is for story purposes. Of course, Randy Orton had to win. But they did make Solo look good in doing it. And again, Jimmy with the distraction, but this time he would get chased off by a returning LA Knight. Yeah, LA Knight would be the one to chase off Jimmy, and then AJ Styles would distract Randy Orton like he was coming after Randy Orton, and Solo, who was sneaking up on Randy Orton trying to get him a Samoan Spike, would turn around and get RKO. 1, 2, 3, Randy Orton's a victor. But he would get a Superman punch by Roman Reigns, who will finally sign the contract after being trying to get to sign the contract the whole night. He will finally sign the contract as Nick Aldis was at ringside, and afterwards he had to sign the contract and embarrassing Nick Aldis. And the only thing he did by embarrassing Nick Aldis was that contract that you see that's in front of Roman. He basically, after signing, he acted like he was going to hand it to Nick, and then he purposely just dropped it and making Nick have to pick it up off the ground, which they said he embarrassed him. And then he prepared to spear Randy. Prepared to spear Randy Orton, but Randy Orton would turn the spear into an RKO, and thus we got this scene right here to end the show. This was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed this one more than the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to give this SmackDown a 7 out of 10 big ups. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed my WWE review, you know what to do. You hit this button, bam, right there for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit those buttons, because when you do, we grow slowly but surely. And to the new tribe members, because we do have new. That's why I keep saying this, because every time I do a video, we got new tribe members. So welcome to the tribe. I love you guys for subscribing. And as always, any one of these videos for more of my amazing content, but don't go anywhere, because I got more coming your way in the form of reactions and more gameplay videos. So peace.